Good morning, my AKA Padders. Guess what happened today? Out there, I woke up today and there was a frosting. The first frosting in winter since like a month ago, maybe even more. I'm excited, okay? Outside the cold weather. I do like snow. It's just beautiful here in Philly. But so I'm coming to you on a heavy day. I got so many things happening today. I got comic book deadlines I'm behind on. We're still marching with Stanuary. I got comic book reviews and discussion ideas I want to present to all of you. And a lot of times, when I just like sit down and I try to aggregate things just magically pop up on my radar. Like, I don't have any type of sifting or any type of automatic search on Twitter or anything to give me updates. I really like to try and feel the pulse. So, I mean, I think that could be better because I am a little bit of an analytics guy. But we have all this stuff about Comic Historian, Young Rippa, Comicsgate going back and forth now about these sales. Now, the Comic Historian video came up on my feed maybe like a week ago, a couple days ago, whatever. And I watched it then, kind of thought nothing of it. I did feel like the presentation of some of the ideas and what he was trying to convey, I felt like not that it wasn't twisted, it wasn't a full analysis, and it wasn't cared for, okay? It's very easy to reverse engineer anything you want to prove, okay? They call that confirmation bias, I believe, okay? But here we go. So I rewatched this video. I see Twitter threads of him going back and forth with people. 3 minutes and 30 seconds in. I'm just going to play it right now.
I wanted to make a video for is manga versus American comic books and how I feel about manga finally beating American comic books, finally being the thing that was propping up American comic books, and why I think this could have happened. Well,
all right. Oh, by the way, we got Dallas over here checking out the window. But yeah, so within 3 minutes and 30 seconds, he blows up the video because the title of the video and his contention is that people are saying comics are dying. He's saying in his video, I don't monitor the political stuff. I don't do this. I read what I love. I report what I love. It's all true. No one's you're 100% right. He's a non-political comic book commentator, no different than Comics Pop and Comics Explained. They're I believe even a little bit self-proclaimed gatekeepers, or they welcome people to comics from the internet if they hit YouTube. I guess that's a little bit fair. But when he says that American comics are losing to manga, he's relatively, that's like a coded statement. That's a dog whistle, right? That's a dog whistle that's saying nobody's buying American comics. Who's buying American comics if manga can come in and obliterate the entire industry and take over all the sales and jeopardize the comic book stores? Okay, not these new hybrid stores that are popping up everywhere. Back in the day, I used to partly manage, co-manage, partly run a chain of comic shops in Jersey that went under. Okay, whatever. Maybe that's a video for another day. I can tell you guys about some of those stories. And these were not true comic shops. They were hybrid shops. And the owner, he did very well. His cars, the cars that this guy drove, were exponentially better cars, bigger cars than his contemporaries that were hardcore comic shops or traditional comic shops. Okay, and this was in the early 2000s. Okay, now any shop that wants to survive needs to be a hybrid shop for a reason. They need to stock as much manga, which is a huge investment, okay? Because you have to stack volumes and collections, okay? It's not easy to stack manga, okay? Now, traditional comic shops, their lifeblood is the weekly customer that comes in and buys weekly drops from a variety of publishers, and what you want from your regulars, you want between $50 and $120 a week in a pop. Okay, some regulars have stacks; they come in once a month. The buying habits are different. I mean, years ago, we saw a lot of comic shops posting their reserve bins overflowing and customers basically screwing them over. Back in the day, we used to, I'm not joking, we had a stack, like, it was a person high of a guy that would come in like once every few years and pick up his stack. It was in the thousands of dollars, okay? But you also have to sit on that investment. You have to sit on that money. Comic historian doesn't even approach that, okay? The health of what we want comic books to be, and we don't want comic books to be strictly crowdfunding. We don't want comic books to be strictly comixology. We want a mosaic, a little bit of a kaleidoscope of a marketplace, because those are signs of a healthy marketplace where there's a variety of consumption, okay? Saying that American comics has lost to manga proves that even though, and he does make this argument, and it's a logical step, okay? I'm not even saying no to it, that the rollouts have not lessened, okay? So the volume of titles that one company's producing from year to year, Marvel, DC, onward, hasn't reduced. And logically, if the industry is dying, that would reduce. Not exactly, okay? We didn't see that, okay? Just for example, we didn't see that with the trading cards of the 90s. We really didn't see that with the video games of the 80s. We didn't see that in Blockbuster. But what we did see in Blockbuster, and he makes this point, that, DC Comics is all Dark Knight books. He wants to explain this, which is fine. He says that's a video coming. Here we go. The dying days of the video stores. I'm talking Blockbuster, Suncoast Video, Hollywood Video. The list goes on. Okay, you would go in one day, and all of the side titles, all of the variety would be in the clearance bin, and you would walk in and everything on the racks would be absolutely new. Like doubling down on Titanic, doubling down on Eraser by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Those new drops increased and the variety decreased. Okay, and this is exactly what we saw with everything I just previously named. And a lot of times when there's a collapse and there's a crumbling and there's a fracturing, it's a slow paradigm shift. Things really just don't happen overnight. It is slow, it's methodical, okay? Because it's a spiral, and there's things along the way that sometimes seem good, and there's things along the way that sometimes seem bad. And what we're getting now in comics, I mean, I see it in my local comic shop, which is also, by the way, my local comic shop is also on a GoFundMe to raise close to $20,000 to $80,000 to stay in business. What we're getting when we go into a local comic shop, we're getting too many looks of the same book. There's too many Spawn books. There's too many Batman books. There's too many this and too many that. And we're not getting this variety where we can spend an extra $10, $12, $15, $20 a week just out of curiosity, just out of a recommendation. And this is the nature of the local comic shop. It's not the nature of these hybrids, which might get some drops from Diamond, but their full investment is in graphic novels and manga. And some of it isn't like this idea of fear of things going away. Comic books has always been small. It's always been, like neighborly. I'll say, like even when you're a guest at a comic book convention, it's very neighborly. It's a small industry, even within the retailers. And what you're going to get from even people like me, when it goes away and when it really starts to fracture, okay, meaning your shop is gone and you don't have a local shop anymore. When that happens, no one's really going to care. People are going to move on with the other media that competes with comics. People are just going to start binge watching DuckTales on Disney Plus instead of popping in on a Wednesday. They will find, the point I'm making, they will find another drug. So a little bit of this like uproar you think that will come from the consumer also doesn't exist. And I can talk about this for a long time. These videos are not quick videos. They're not quick videos for a reason, because when it deals with true technical analysis, okay, it's multi-factored. It's a giant iceberg. It's not a 15-minute video. It's not like a 10-minute video. There's a lot to consider, and there's even psychological pieces of with the consumer, how the consumer feeds into comics and what exactly the consumer is doing. Now, all of this, it's all theory, because, and this is like his entire video. He's getting a couple threads from Comic-Con, one source, okay? We need multi-factorial sources to be accurate. And you might say to yourself, Pete, but what about movies? Like, movies have a top 10. Okay, like, where does that come from? That comes from multiple distributors. Even private theater chains report those numbers to get the top 10, and it's beneficial for the movie theaters to participate in this, because, back in the day, even, Entertainment Weekly or check your favorite website, you open up the newspaper, log on to a website and see a top 10, and you would be baited to go see that movie. There's a little bit of FOMO with the top 10 list, okay? This New York Times bestseller list. All of these are there for reasons, and they're proven to work. The comic industry doesn't even have a top 10 list. We don't even get reporting from DC, so we don't even know, okay? A lot of this reporting is basically what one distributor is moving, and that's it. And I give him credit. He did some good work in dissecting some of the manga sales and the terminology and the source of some of it. But the Comic Historian's video is one peanut in the string of peanuts it takes to feed an elephant. People, AKAPAD here, maybe a quick video. I did think I went on for 10 minutes. I'd love you. Subscribe, support. Hey, before we go. We got some more James Gunn conversation, more James Gunn analysis coming. I love you all. Rock and roll. Subscribe, support, leave a comment. Let's go.